we have your weekend Apple news. Welcome back to the channel. So what do we do on the weekends? You know it. We go through the weekend Apple news. And today I got some cool stories we're going to cover. We got some leaks on the M4 Mac Mini coming out, and I actually have some really cool renderings that I created myself based off of all of the rumors that came out. You can kind of see what those look like as well. And then I have a whole bunch of other stories about all different Apple stuff, including the event coming up soon. So sit back and relax. I got an Oktoberfest spot in here. Cheers, and let's get into the Apple news. Okay, for story number one, we're going to start right with those Mac Mini leaks, the M4 Mac Mini. Here it is right here from Mac Rumors. It says Mac Mini to lose its USB-A ports later this year. So we talked about this before. A lot of people are upset about this because they have USB-A keyboards or mice and stuff. I hate to tell you, you can get a dongle for that if you need one, right? Unfortunately, but it looks like they're going away. It says right here, Apple's redesigned Mac Mini, the M4, will not have any USB-A ports, Bloomberg Mark Gurman reports. So, obviously he reports a lot of stuff that may not be true either, but supposedly they're going away. Down here it says the current Mac Mini with the M2 chip features 2 USB-C and 2 USB-A on the base model. Then it goes on to say that it has, the Pro variant has 4 USB-C and 2 USB-As. So let me kind of go down here. Gurman explained that the new Mac Mini will with the M4 chip will have a total of 5 USB-C ports, but no USB-A ports. 3 of the USB-C ports will be located on the back, while 2 will be present on the front of the machine. This is actually pretty cool, right? Similar to the Mac Studio, except there's one thing missing, the SD card, right? So you're going to have basically 2 USB-C in the front, 3 in the back, and some other ports. So what did I do? So I took all this information I got from this, and I went ahead and I did some renderings for you. Again, I'm taking a guess as well, but I think this is going to be close to the design of this. So let's sit back and relax, and let's take a look at my renderings. Okay, so for rendering number one, take a look at this. So I think it's going to be about this size. They say it's about the size of the Apple TV, but slightly thicker. So you can see about the size of it in this person's hand right here. Now that would actually make it a super kind of tiny device. It would be really cool if it could actually have all that power in it, but I don't see why not. They can fit it in like iPads and stuff that are this thin, right? So why not something this thick? That would be maybe the frontal design or the top design. On the front of it, though, they had mentioned that it has 2 USB-C right here. So obviously on the Studio, they're all on the left side, so I'm just taking a guess at this. Obviously, the glaring thing that we would love is the SD card reader, which is not going to probably be on this. But you can see the 2 ports here. Those are actually really cool on this design. So here you can see the design compared to the hand again. Again, these are just my renderings. I'm going to click over here. This will be the back now. The back would be something like this. It's going to have 3 more USB-C here. It's going to hopefully keep the HDMI. That's what they're claiming. Have some venting. Have a power, maybe the power inlet that's magnetic. We don't know yet. And then keep the Ethernet jack as well. We think that's going to be there for sure. So this looks like the back of what we think's coming here. And this is actually pretty exciting news, right? If it was actually this small with this configuration, obviously we want the SD card reader, but I mean, still, it's a lot of power in this little teeny box here, right? Now, this is my design, but I kind of started fooling around with other designs to say, hey, what happens if Apple really kind of changed it up and did some other ones? So I put together a list of some other ones that these aren't possible at all, but kind of fun designs. Take a look at this. Here's another small kind of hockey puck one. Look at the circular one here. Look at that. It's kind of like a smaller one, but circular. Maybe that could come out as possible. We have no idea. This one's more, obviously a lot taller, but a lot shorter than the current Mac Mini. That would be different. Then look over here. This is kind of like the trash can Mac, but a mini trash can. Wouldn't that be cool? This is kind of more circular. Then this is, this is more cut off. This has got kind of more of a flow to it. And then this is just a different design altogether. It's a rectangle, which actually might not be too bad either, just because, just something different, right? And it's going to be a really small form factor there. They can maybe put the ports on the front. Obviously, this just has a little power jack there. But overall, I think these are kind of cool renderings, right? You guys tell me what you think here. Overall, I think it's not going to be any of those, but it might be those ones I showed you earlier, and I think it's coming fairly soon. Okay, for the next one, we got another sale here. It's going to be on Amazon. Just something I wanted to show you. I showed you this before, but it's still on sale. Right here, it's the Apple 2024. This is going to be the M3 chip, 13-inch, 16 gigs of RAM, though, and 512 gigabyte SSD. So these are both upgraded. $12.99 right now. It is, what is it, $200 off. So still, that's one of the best sales I've seen so far. And I recommend if you were thinking about like a base, let's say the base model M4 only comes with 8 gigs of RAM. This one's got 16. I would probably get this over that for sure. Obviously, we think those might be upgraded on the M4s. We got to wait to see if that RAM's going to be upgraded. But this is still really, a good price, a lot of power, and a small package. And I totally recommend this package right here for $12.99. Okay, so for people waiting on the AirTags, when are the next AirTags coming out? We got some kind of bad news here. So it says right here, Mac Rumors, when to expect the AirTag 2 launch. Apple released the AirTags in April of 2021, way back then, and basically has not received any hardware updates since then. You can see it right there. Timing. In a report outlining the expectations of Apple's upcoming iPhone 16, Bloomberg Mark Gurman, here he is again, mentioned that Apple's developing a new AirTag, but he does not expect the accessory to be released until 2025, all right? So that's what they're thinking, 2025 for this. That's pretty crazy, right? Now the features, it says Gurman previously said that new AirTag would feature an upgraded chip with improved location tracking. So far, the AirTag could be updated with a second generation ultra-wideband chip that debuted in the iPhone 15 models last year. And this other guy, Coy, he believes that the new AirTag will have some kind of integration with Apple's Vision Pro headset, but he has not shared any specifics. I mean, it doesn't really go on to say much about this, for sure. It doesn't really say anything really about that. I was kind of going in here. Let me just see. There's an AirTag guide here. It says basically the design is going to be very similar. I mean, I was reading this article too. It's Vision Pro integration here. It says, we'll integrate with the Vision Pro headset as part of a spatial computing ecosystem, but he did not provide a lot of information on it, so who knows what that is. It's possible the ultra-wideband chip AirTags could be used for relaying positional information, so that might be something, but for you and me, that's not going to be really that important. Upgraded wideband chip, we saw that. But it looks like the launch date is mid to starting 2025, so it doesn't look like it's coming out soon. You never know with these guys, right? They're sometimes wrong. But if you're waiting for them, you may be waiting a long time. So what I recommend doing is pick up the actual one. Pick up this. It's on sale right now. This is the Apple AirTag 4-pack right now, $79. So it's 19% off. Usually $99 for 4 of them. You get a really good sale going on Amazon right now. So you get 4. I don't know what that comes out to. 20, 40, 60, 80. I guess less than $20 a piece right there. By a couple pennies, right? But it's still a good deal. Brand new from Apple right now. I'll have the links to all this in the video description if you want to pick these up. But why not get these if they're not changing that much, right? They're going to be just as good. I hope everyone's having a good weekend. Oktoberfest is coming upon us, right? Anyways, here's a kind of a cool article. It's just funny to me because like a lot of people, they're talking about all these articles saying that the Apple intelligence is going to be the driving factor. So many iPhones are going to be sold. And then they do some studies. Here it is from 9to5Mac. It says, new features aren't driving iPhone sales. Here's what is. So this is an article by 9to5Mac. I'm just going to kind of get to the chase down here. Here's the graph. I'll zoom in on it. But these are the reasons why people are actually going to change to the iPhone 16. The main reason is obsolete. So basically the version that they have is obsolete. It's basically, they have an old version of it, which they basically need to upgrade. So that's 44% of people, just they have to upgrade because their other phones are becoming obsolete. The next thing is lost, broken, or stolen. So they've actually need to upgrade because they have a broken iPhone or they've lost it or it has been stolen. Although those things are more immediate, but I think broken or slightly broken or cracked screens are another reason. And then incentive is basically the 6% is incentive where you're going to get an incentive from the phone provider. So if you get like a free phone or something, that's 6%. The network improvements is 2%. Friends and family have the iPhone, so you want to switch. That's only 1%. But the new features are only 18% versus over here. So again, if you kind of reach, let me just see here. So old phone was obsolete. Old phone was lost, broken, or stolen. Wanted the newest features. Carrier, the main one I'm trying to talk about is old phone was obsolete. So that's the main driver of everything it looks like at 44% there. So I guess when your phone just gets a couple years old, you want to upgrade, right? And that's still the driving force. It's really very small AI stuff, around 18% of that, even if that's all AI. I think a lot of this might be the cameras and some other stuff. So who knows? I think it'll be good, but it's still not going to come right away, right? A lot of the features are going to be gone or missing until 2015. So you may want to wait until the iPhone 17 anyway to upgrade because it's going to be slimmer and a lot of other things going on, more RAM. So we'll see what happens in a couple days here, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so for the next couple articles here, these are going to be ones about the event coming up shortly, and I'm just going to touch on them really quickly because we'll know more in a couple days, right? Here's from Mac Rumors. It says iPhone 16 Pro models rumored to support 4K at 120 frames per second versus before it was only 60 frames per second on the iPhone 15. So it goes up to 4K 120 frames per second, which is really cool. So I think that's actually going to be good if people do that kind of recording. You need obviously, 120 frames you use in special cases where you want to slow something down later. It works pretty good there, especially at 4K. So I guess that would be a useful feature. This article goes on down here to say that the actual cameras themselves are allegedly tested in 8K. They're basically able to do 8K resolutions because of the resolution of the cameras, but they don't know if they're going to be enabling that on the 16 models. They might wait for the 17 models. but I don't think many people need 8K on an iPhone. I mean, if you're going to be doing 8K, you probably have a better camera for all it's worth, but still, you get the idea. So that might be coming on the 17, but not the 16, the 8K recording, but it is possible. They think it's still possible. All right. The next one down here is going to be about the Apple Watch Series 10. Again, we're going to find out very shortly here, but this is what they're thinking right now. Bloomberg says sleep apnea detection will be a major new health feature on the Apple Watch Series 10. So here's the watches. They're saying that basically, and whenever this comes, I guess Monday, Apple will update its Apple Watch models, including the low-end. They're saying the low-end Apple Watch SC as well, and the Series 10 watches. And they're saying that it's going to have, be able to look for that health condition. If you can't sleep, if you're having trouble sleeping, breathing, it's going to kind of let you know about that. I'm not so sure about that personally. It did go on to say that they don't think it's going to have the hypertension monitoring because they're still working on that. And that, I don't know about that either. So these are the two things that it might come out with, those two features. Obviously the sleep item, and then also the hypertension would be the two things that could possibly come out. But they're leaning more towards the sleep one because the other one's still having problems for all it's worth. But we'll find out shortly. And every once in a while, one of these articles just kind of sets me off. But this is not really one of them, but I have a couple coming up. Stay tuned for that. All right, Mac Rumors. It says right here, 12 South introduces USB wall chargers with Find My support. So it says a well-known accessory maker, 12 South, has introduced the first ever USB-C wall chargers with built-in support for Apple's Find My app. And they show it right here. Then it goes on to say down here that the U.S. pricing set at $70 and $120 for these chargers. Did you ever these are the things that bug me. Like, people keep trying to develop things that we do not need, all right? First of all, a charger should not be $70 to $120 for a charger, number one. Number two, you shouldn't always be losing your charger, right? If you're losing your charger all the time, you're kind of not that smart. Take a look down here at this video. I'm going to show this to you. So this person over here, you can see that they're looking for their charger. She knows where it is. He can't find his charger now. And so he picks up his phone and he goes to Find My, and he goes, hey, look at this. My charger's actually at home. I forgot it, right? So now he's identified where his charger is. She knows. She goes over to her bag and she finds it in the bag. You can see the video right here. So she's looking in there and she finds it. Crisis averted, right? But now she's got to go deliver the charger to him. He's still looking for it and stuff. Now he finds an alternative charger over in his other office, and the whole thing's done, right? So it's kind of an ad there, but they're charging $70 to $120 for this thing, right? Let me just give you a tip here. If you're actually thinking about buying this is what I would do. Go off to Amazon. I'll have a link to this in the description right here. Just buy 2 of these, maybe 2 or 3 of these, and put them everywhere around. Buy 2 of them for $70, or even buy the cheaper ones. I mean, if you go back in here, you can buy ones for like $15 that are no-name brands. Just buy 10 of them if you want for the same cost, and then put them in your office. Put them here, put them there, and you never have to worry about losing them, right? I mean, if you have 5 of them versus 1, don't worry about losing them, and it's still cheaper. This one's more expensive because it's the double Apple one, but you can get the single Apple down here. I don't know where it is actually, but it's like 19 or 20 bucks. Just buy a bunch of those and forget the Find My. These companies keep adding and adding features. Are we this stupid where we can't even find our charger any longer? And even if we lost it one time, do we really need to have that Find My, whatever it is, in the actual charger and pay the extra money for it because we couldn't find it that one time? Just buy another charger and be done with it. We all have about 50 of them in our house anyway, so if you can't find one, so be it. Okay, so we have some new games coming out for the Apple Arcade. Now, I'm not a huge gamer, but Apple Arcade's like $6 a month or $7 a month or something. I think it's totally worth it because it's got, literally a couple hundred games or something in there. And they're not always the best games, obviously, but here's from Mac Rumors. This one says Apple Arcade adding these new games in October, including, this is the one I'm more excited about, NBA 2K25. So in here, they have a whole bunch of games. You can see them all in here. But anyways, here let me just click on this really quickly, and we'll kind of open this up here. We'll take a quick peek at it. So right here, NBA 2K25, you can see it in here. I was just kind of scrolling through here, but it looks like it's got some really good graphics. Now, I played the earlier version of this on Apple Arcade. Again, it's free. It's included in your subscription, and it's really good. This one has a street ball. This one doesn't look as good as graphics as the other one, but I don't know, like the other when they play actually in the stadiums. But you can see the idea here. So you can set up your players. You can do all this stuff. It's just like, obviously what you'd expect there. So kind of a cool game. And then they have these other games, like games I would probably never play, like this, what is this called? Food Truck Pup. Look at this. This is coming out. Again, I don't know who's playing these games. Maybe like a 5-year-old girl. But anyways, who knows about that? But that's not for me. Still, it's free, right? Then they got this Cat Cafe. Again, a little crazy here. I don't know about this one either. So far, the 2K, the basketball is the only one I would actually play. This one looks a little creepy to me as well. But at least it's available. So maybe I talked too soon here. The one I would actually play here, this is a card game. Now, I don't know how to pronounce this. It's called BAL. Balatro or something. I don't know. It's the arcade game, but I guess this is really kind of a cross between poker and solitaire here. And I was kind of looking into this. I guess a lot of people love this game. So if you like poker and solitaire, let's just take a look at this. You can, obviously, it's not the best graphics and stuff, but it's just a kind of a game you can download and play. And I guess it's really, really popular for some reason. So check that game out as well. But I just wanted to go ahead and say Apple's finally getting some sports games on there, which is kind of cool. And the NBA is one of the ones that I like playing. So if you guys are like me, you might want to check it out. Okay, so this next one I thought was actually really cool for the cost. I mean, this is kind of crazy cost on things. It shows you how things could cost so much less, right? So here's Mac Rumors. It says, this case turns your iPhone into a Game Boy for retro gaming. Take a look at this. Now, it says Bitmo Lab today introduced the Game Baby. It's a case perfect for playing retro games on an iPhone. The Game Baby is a clever two-part accessory that adds a D-pad and buttons to the iPhone for gaming, and it works as a protective case. So there it is right there. So the cool thing with this is, like, obviously Apple's has all these emulators now, and obviously Mario Brothers and stuff. You can, obviously Nintendo. You can get all these games on your phone now, which is kind of cool. So I went in here, I started digging around. Here's the game right here. You can buy it on Again, I'm not affiliated with them. Do your own research. For all I know, they could steal all your money. Bitmo Lab right here, you can see it. But the thing that was crazy, it's kind of cool because you can actually, this part comes off, and you can turn it around and put it this way if you just want to use it as a case, or you can flip it around this way if you want to actually play some like Game Baby or Game Boy type games on it, obviously. So that's what it is. But how much is this case? Look at this. The super early bird offer, up to 1,000 pieces the first, $19.99. Can you imagine that? And then $39.99, $40. But still, with the controller built into it, even $40 I think is a good deal. What do you guys think? $19.99 is literally a steal there. So if you're a gamer, I mean, I don't know how good the buttons are, if they're going to work that well, or how it all works. You do your own research, but I guess you can go ahead and pre-order right now. I'll have a link to it in the description. I'm not affiliated with them. Again, do your own research. Okay, so just a little bit of news. If you use PayPal and you have a PayPal debit card, or even if you don't, you might want to get a PayPal debit card, and this is why. PayPal debit card now supports Apple Wallet with up to 5% cash back for Mac Rumors. So it says right here, PayPal today announced that the PayPal debit card can now be added to the Apple Wallet app and be used with Apple Pay in stores and online. So if you kind of go down here, let's just see what it says. The PayPal debit card holders can now select a monthly category of spending such as groceries, gas, or clothing and receive 5% cashback on up to $1,000 in purchases in that category per month. Multiple cashback offers can be stacked. So again, if you have PayPal and you get the debit card and you put money into PayPal or you just use it, you can add that to your Apple Wallet and then still get that 5%. Pretty cool. Okay, so here's one of my rants again. It's not really, it's kind of a cool story, but at the end of the day, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So here it is, 9 to 5 Mac. It says Apple Watch ECG feature saves pregnant woman and her baby. Awesome story, right? Really good, feel-good story. You've already seen a lot of reports about how the Apple Watch saves people's lives. And this person, so basically what it says is the woman says that the Apple Watch saved her life, all right? You can see it right here. But let's go on and read the article because this is where I kind of challenge this article. It says right here, from the very first kind of second paragraph, as reported by ABC News San Diego, she was 18 weeks pregnant and she felt her heart race nonstop. These symptoms persisted for weeks when she decided to use her Apple Watch to take the ECG electrogram to measure her heart's electricity activity. Then she found an issue with it. So this is what I'm saying. Her heart was racing for weeks before she even put the watch on. So have we come to this in society where you don't go to shouldn't she have gone to the doctor on maybe the second day or maybe the first day, right? Maybe the second. I would probably wait 3 or 4 days knowing me, but I'm not going to wait 4 or 5 weeks and then put the watch on and have the watch tell me. So it's a funny story. I think it's a good story because obviously everything was saved, everything was good. But she waited 4 weeks. Did the watch really save her, or was it just her stupidity that actually made her put the watch on? She should have been saved a lot earlier. Anybody else with a racing heart, get into the hospital. Okay, this next one's a win for the Mac users. I always get weird comments from Windows users. It seems like there's always a battle out there. I don't know why. Competition's a good thing for sure. This one's kind of a win. At least it's kind of in theory for us. It says right here, Apple's Copilot gaming fail could be a big Apple Silicon win. This is from Apple Insider. So why is that? Well, first of all, so obviously with Snapdragon chips and all that stuff, they're really, really fast, obviously, really fast. But the gaming part of them is not the best, and there's some reasons behind it. It's not, some of it is going to be performance and stuff, but the other part is, and the article goes on to say here, Microsoft's push into AI-centric notebooks isn't great for gamers as they can't play most of their games on the ARM-based chips inside of the latest Copilot PCs. this is a problem that will be beneficial to Apple Silicon gaming. So they're saying basically that why can't they play them? Well, it looks like all those games were not made for ARM-based systems, and obviously there's kind of that software that's needed to kind of convert it from into ARM format so they can actually be played on ARM systems. And a lot of those games aren't working correctly. Even the software is not working correctly. So people are having a hard time playing some of the older titles and stuff because the games haven't been ported over to ARM, all right? So, but how does this help Mac? I was kind of thinking about it, and there's like a huge article here. I went all the way to the bottom, but this is what they're kind of basically saying. They're saying that down here, a tide that fits all boats. Despite this being a problem for Microsoft now, the real benefit to Apple could be in the future. So what it's saying is that they're going to now have to, all the Windows machines and stuff are going to have to work on a very, very, to port all of their games to work on ARM correctly and work really well on ARM. And what the article goes on to say is once they're in ARM, it's a lot easier to port them to Mac ARM or Mac, the Mac chips, Silicon, than it would be to go from, obviously a different format, not ARM based. So a lot of the games will be easily now ported over to Mac a lot easier, and the cost will be a lot less to port them over to Mac, because they're already going to be in the ARM format. So for a long story short, it's forcing them to kind of, Apple Silicon's based on ARM, and so now these new Copilots are as well, and eventually those games are going to have to all be based for ARM, and that'll make the porting over to Mac easier for all it's worth. That's a mouthful, right? And I don't even know if I explained that correctly, but overall I think that's what they're trying to say here. So I think it's kind of a cool story, and again, who knows if it's going to really make a difference. I think the main thing is, you just need a lot of people playing games. It's got to be the right cost structure. You need fast PCs, whether the Mac or Windows, to play the games at a high frame rate, over 60 frames, way more than that if you're playing competitively. So I think that's the main difference. But here, it's some good news. Okay, so here's one of those weird ones again that I always talk about. It's kind of a new feature that came out. Interesting, but it's a little creepy as well. Mac rumors. Google's AI-powered Ask Photos search feature now rolling out. So Google has this AI-powered Ask Photos. Google today said it's starting to rolling out early access of the new Ask Photos feature for its Google Apps, Photos apps, available on both iOS and Android users. The new Google Photos feature takes advantage of Google's Gemini AI to provide new ways to search. So once you're in Google Photos, you can say things like, what are the best photos from each national park I visited? Where did I camp last year? When will my tickets expire? What are the best things that we saw on our trip? I mean, this is what kind of worries me. Look at this. So that right there, for instance, can anyone, do you really want AI telling you what is the best thing you saw on your trip? Isn't that kind of, you tell me, am I the only person thinking this? Like, it's crazy, right? I mean, they even wrote that out here in the article. So, and then it says, what did I eat at the hotel? I mean, come on now. What did I eat at the market? I mean, maybe, but who knows? What are the best photos from my birthday party? I mean, wouldn't that be with your mom if you love your mom, or, if you don't, maybe you don't like your cousin and it's not with your cousin. I mean, how are they going to know that, right? What are the best photos? You can't determine that yourself. So I just love this kind of stuff. This is where we're going with everything in society, I think, and it's just kind of a funny way that we're doing it. I don't know. I know I'm not the only one that thinks like this, but you guys tell me in the comments, would you want something like this? And I guess we already have it. Okay, for this next one, we're going to see if this turns into a bigger lawsuit or if Apple becomes a little bit more in trouble with this. But right now, it's kind of a small lawsuit. You can see it here from Apple Insider. It says Apple's iPhone water resistance has a big catch, claims new lawsuit. So down here, the article goes on to say a lawyer in Quebec who is calling for a class action lawsuit against Apple over refusing to repair any iPhone damaged by water, despite advertising that its phones can be submerged. So basically, he goes on to say that, how can you exclude liquid when you advertise that it can fall in the pool and be fine? So you can kind of see it right here. So he's saying that they have all these commercials and they do all this stuff, and it talks about water resistance, and you can have it in a tub or something for 30 minutes at some depth. But then in the actual fine print, it says they don't cover any water damage at all, no matter what. He's going to do this class action lawsuit to see if they can get some money out of it, obviously. He wants up to 5. He says, what does he want here? He says, specifically, the proposal suit wants to have Apple remove its liquid contact clause, reimburse any repair fees, and also pay $500 per person. So that's kind of crazy, right? We'll see where this goes, but it does kind of make sense, right? If Apple's showcasing its waterproof and then you get a little bit of water damage, shouldn't they be covering that? I mean, maybe there's no way to tell how long it's been in the water, things like that, but maybe, who knows? We'll see where this all goes. Okay, the next one's actually kind of interesting. I don't know how many people do this. We actually do this, me and my wife actually. So Here it is right here, Apple Insider. Target customers can now use CarPlay to make drive-up orders more convenient. So if you don't want to go into Target, let's say you just want to get some stuff really quickly, you can order it on your phone and they just come out and put it right in your car. We started doing that during COVID, but trust me, only because we couldn't go in. But it became convenient because I hate going shopping that much. So we just swing by and get it. We go into a whole bunch of other stores, trust me. But I don't like Target that much. So we just do this every once in a while. But I guess on CarPlay now, they have this little screen here. It's an app you can download. And you can see it in here. It says drive to store. But then it gives you the locations of the store. I mean, big deal. But down here, it tells you I'm here, navigate. What does this say? Come later. So you can change if you're going to come later, if you're late or something. You can tell them when you're here. You can also see what's in your order. So the screen's going to be basically, you pull up and then the app's right there. It knows when you're in the location. It knows where you are. You say, I'm here. They're going to be able to tell where you are, walk out, deliver your stuff. It's kind of interesting. Obviously, do we need this in a society? No. But like I said, if you want to avoid Target like I do, that's what I do sometimes. I sweep in, sweep out, and this is actually a good idea. Okay, so we have a couple sales here to wrap this up. This is still on sale. I've showed this before, but it's time to get it. If you want to get it, I mean, obviously, there's going to be a new one coming out soon, so be careful. I'm just letting you know that as well. Here it is, the Apple iPad 10th generation, the A14. Obviously, this is not going to be capable of actually doing the Apple Intelligence, but still, $299, 14% off right now. One of the best prices for the blue one. I have the yellow one sitting right here. I was looking at this. The yellow one in here, look at this. I don't know why. If I click on it, $339. It's like $40 more for the yellow versus the blue, which makes no sense to me. I guess I made the right choice, right? Who knows? But I don't know why they're doing that. Why does it color matter, right? Who knows? Apple sometimes does that, but that's a bad price. But definitely stick to the blue here. And for $299, I think it's a great device for a kid, or if you're not just that much into iPads. I love using my MacBooks more and stuff like that over here. So pretty good sale. And then what do we have here? The last one I think is still a good deal for me at least, or somebody out there. This is the Apple 2023 MacBook Pro M3. It's going to basically have 14-inch screen, 16 gigs, 1 terabyte. So it's upgraded storage for $16.99. The main difference here is this is the M3 chip, not the M3 Pro chip. You can see it right there. It's the MacBook Pro, but only the M3 chip. But it has 16 gigs of RAM, which has obviously been upgraded from 8. And then the SSD has also been upgraded from 512 to 1 terabyte, all for $16.99. Now that's that's got the better screens. It's got all the ports in it. And if you don't do like really hard lifting, I mean, even for like my video editing, I can easily get away with an M3 versus an M3 Pro. But if you're somebody that needs the Pro, get the Pro. But this is better. I mean, when I say Pro, I mean the Pro chip. This is obviously the MacBook Pro, but with the M3 standard chip. So I would get this. I mean, this is not a bad deal still. The M4s are coming out soon. You might want to wait to see what's going to come out with that, but still, these may drop a little bit more. But if you need one right now, I would pick this up. Okay, so we're going to wrap this one up. I feel like I labored through that one, right? Anyways, it's the weekend. I hope everyone's having a great weekend. And I do this every weekend, and I also do a whole bunch of other stuff. Like I do Mac news, then I go on to do reviews of a whole bunch of products. I do showcases of Mac accessories. What else? I mean, I do Mac training. You name it. Just check out my channel. I think I have around 700 videos now. I've been doing it for many, many years. So check out my channel. Oktoberfest is almost upon us, even though I'm around Chicago, so I got to go up to Wisconsin to get into a good one at least. But we'll see you in the next one. Peace.